Good morning, Northshire. This morning, we're going to actually go over a few quick tips to show you some features that the website and the leads gen program have. This is going to be less than 5 minutes, just to point out some really useful things that you probably need to be using on a daily basis. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my leads program. I'm just going to actually pull up a basic test customer that we got set up here in the system. And the first thing we care about is, does this that to bring them back to the website? We want to check that all of our customers have searches set up. So this one does have a search set up. And then the question is are they getting information that's broad enough to get them back to our website on a time-to-time basis? So the way we do that is we have to log in as the user here. You can see that you just click that. Sometimes it's going to ask you if you have permission to do so. You're going to say yes because you are their agent, and you click yes, and then you get to this screen. This is going to show you all of their saved searches right here. But before we do that, one thing that I get a lot of questions about from agents is if they have a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or somebody else that also wants to get it, maybe a mother that wants to get the same searches as the person that you have here in the system, how can you go ahead and do that? And the way you actually do that is two ways. Number one, you can, if it's a quick one like this, you can actually come in here and under this screen here, and you can get to the screen two ways. As you come in this way, or if you're at the main screen for them and you forgot to do it earlier and you're just in as him, signed in as test, or signed in as James Doe or whoever it is, if you click the little guy and you come over here and hit edit profile, you can see that there's the same three boxes that we were just at. So we were just at save search, but your profile here has their name, their first name, their last name, an email, a cell phone, and at the bottom you can see it says send email updates to an additional recipient. So guess who that sends it to? So you can send this to a second person. So you just put in their email and click away from it or hit save, and it will actually save that email and send them emails on the same pace as it did for the other person. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is you can set up a second customer and copy and paste that, and I'll show you that here in a minute as well. Okay, so we're back to the save search. We now know how to go ahead and send it to multiple people. Guess who else you could send that to, actually? It's not a bad idea either. If you have a very hot client that's doing a lot of, you're out with them on a daily basis looking for a home, you might put your own email in there. This way you're going to actually get the emails as well. There's two ways to do that as well. You can also set yourself up on a search that copies this as well. And I prefer doing it that way more so than putting your name in here. This is the quicker way because you're already in here, but you're going to get individual emails for every single customer you have, whereas you can consolidate them by doing it another way, which I'm going to show you here in a minute as well. Okay, so now we know how to do that. So let's talk about the save search. So you can look at this. They have a save search set up, single family condo search. So let's go ahead and view that. We can do that by clicking here or by clicking the view button. And you can see this is they're going to be looking at 1,370 properties. That's a lot of properties, more than most people are going to want to look at. And if you're wondering why people are clicking around the big stuff all the time, if this is what they're getting on a daily basis and they're not a $1 million buyer, we're probably over inundating with stuff that they don't need to see. And they're going to click on that from time to time because as I would, you would do the same. So let's go ahead and modify this search. So we can do that two ways. We can go back to advanced, create a whole new search, or we can go back to the search and edit the search. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick a couple areas. Let's say they're looking in Henrietta, and they only want Henrietta schools. Let's say they only want Pittsford schools, because there is a part of Henrietta that only has Pittsford schools. So let's say they want Pittsford schools. and let's say that they're limited to a $300,000 budget, and we don't want to show them the junk, so we're going to show them 150 to 300. And that should be a pretty good one. So we're going to hit Save Search. Or what we can do, yeah, let's save that search. So now that updated our search. We can also go in and edit it further if we want with the interactive map function. And it didn't. Let's go ahead and bring that search up again. Oh, yeah, naughty. Let's look at the property list. All right, so obviously you can see I'm having a problem here. So what I got to do is actually go to Save Search, open the search. Oh, it didn't save it for some reason. View search. So it's gone. So let's start from scratch. That'll be even easier. How's that sound? So I'm going to go in, and you can see they have no searches set up right now. I'm going to go in and do that same search. I'm going to search in Monroe County, and I'm going to search in Henrietta. And the reason that probably happened was there was probably no homes in that search criteria. So that's probably what I probably had a setup that actually was 0 listings, is my guess. So let's just go 50,000 to 175,000, and they don't want condos, and hit search. Okay, so now we can see that there's 19 properties available. You could go and save this, or you can go in here to interactive map. And let's say they only want houses that are to the east of 390. So we can come in here and we can actually pick this polygon tool here, and we can come down and chase 390. And obviously it doesn't need to be exact. You're better off leaving a little bit of room in there for slop. And if you've already picked Henrietta, you can go way outside that boundary. It's not going to hurt anything because it's only going to show you stuff in Henrietta. So now you can see we've gone from 19 homes to 12 homes. So now we're going to go ahead and save our search by clicking this guy. And let's call this Henrietta east of 390. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, so now that search is saved, they're going to get that on a daily basis, as you guys saw there. If we go back to our little guy here, you're going to see that there's that search. So now the question is okay, I want to send this also to myself as an agent. So what I would do is I would go ahead and click on this, and you want to go through this cycle one time. You want to go to the guy, save searches, click the search, and then copy this. You don't want to copy it from the header the first time, because at first it's just search criteria. This is an actual save search. We want to save this hyperlink. We don't want to save the search from the other hyperlink. So we hit Command C or Control C. It would be Command C from a Mac, Control C from a PC. That will copy that web address at the top. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually go back to our leads program, and we can go ahead and log into either another customer, or we can log in as ourselves. So let's say I want to log in as myself, or let's say I want to send a copy to myself. So I can look myself up. I can do the same thing as I do when I'm logging as a customer. You can see I'm signed in as Craig Schneider. So now that I'm signed in as Craig Schneider, you want to come back up to this header bar and you want to hit Command V or Control V if you're using a PC, and then just hit return. Now you're going to see that exact same search came up. We have 12 listings. It's under my name. And all we're going to do is we're going to hit save. And we'll call this the customer's name. So test Henrietta. And if you want to be very detailed, you can say Henrietta 390 east of 390 or whatever. And then you hit save. So now this search has been set up in my bucket. So you can see if I come in here now, you're going to see the test Henrietta. And I'm going to get the daily updates. The nice thing is I'm going to get the daily updates with this test, but also if I add, like I have this search set up for Michael V, I would also get the ones for Michael V. It's all on the same email versus getting 15 different emails for every single customer. And when I get that, I can click on his for that day and I can say, okay, Michael V, this is what he's got, and click on it, see his. Then I can go back to the email, click on the next one, and the next one, next one. So that helps you kind of keep things organized and also not get inundated with a million emails. Also, if you want to do that same thing for another customer, you could do that, or for a spouse or whatever, you can do that as well. So 2 ways to kind of do the same thing. I hope you found this helpful. I'm just going to delete that, as you can see, and I'm going to actually go back to this guy and probably delete this one too. So if you have any questions about this or how this is going to help your business, please let me know, and I hope you found this helpful.